This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
The rain is coming down and it's leading to dangerous conditions on some roads. Unlike that driver you just saw right there, you need to be careful if watering is covering the road that you're driving on. And heavy rain is also causing some problems for homeowners today as well. First, here as we start the news at noon, some breaking news for your commute on the interstates. This is a view of I-65. Our camera here near 30th Street. You can see a semi jackknifed across the road. This is the southbound lanes you're looking at. And it looks like at this hour, all those lanes are blocked off. They're not letting any vehicles through at this time. Off in a distance, you can see traffic sitting at a standstill, and the opposite side of the road is moving northbound, but a little bit slower at this hour. So this is something we'll continue to monitor. You should have just received a push alert from us on your phone about this situation to the north of the city. Right now, I do want to talk to Todd Clausen about the rainfall you saw there on our camera. It's been coming down since overnight, and you say it's not stopping anytime soon.
No, it's going to continue all the way into Saturday evening.
Okay.
So this is a prolonged event. Bloomington, almost 1.5 inches of rain already.
Wow.
Around 1 inch has fallen in Indy, and obviously has caused issues on the roadways, and it's going to continue to cause issues, I think, going forward, as flooding is going to become a bigger concern over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar, and still some pockets of moderate rainfall in the Anderson, Muncie, Winchester area down towards Richmond, and in around downtown Indianapolis, generally some light rain, and then some pockets of moderate rainfall as you work your way into the Greencastle and Brazil area. A bit of a break here in southern locations, and if you do get one of these breaks here or there throughout the course of the afternoon and evening, don't become complacent. Have the rain gear handy, because more rain is going to continue to work back in. This rain extends all the way back into parts of southern Illinois. It's going to be heading our direction, and this is just the first wave. This area of low pressure just now starting to get itself together. There'll be severe weather in Texas and Louisiana, and as this area of low pressure lifts to the north, it's going to bring even heavier rain into our area by tomorrow morning. So this afternoon into the evening hours, continue to have the rain gear handy. Pockets of rain, heavy at times, and then look at this front coming through tomorrow morning with even a few thunderstorms and some gusty winds. By the time we're done, we're looking at maybe 4 inches of rain in many locations. Flood watches, advisories, warnings already posted by the National Weather Service. We'll break those down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Well, it's been a soggy Friday, and we've been monitoring those road conditions all day long. The Indiana Department of Transportation is also paying very close attention. Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with INDOT officials on how they prepare for a rain event like this one.
INDOT officials are urging drivers to be cautious this weekend, as we are expected to get more rain throughout the day, tonight and on Saturday. They say water over the roadways can be very dangerous. They'll be on call doing things like putting up high water signs and clearing drains that are clogged. Officials ask that you give them plenty of room to work for their safety and your own.
When you see high water, you never know how deep it is. Turn around, find an alternate route. And if you see our crew out there clearing a drain, depending on the area, they might have a big machine or they might be doing it by hand. Give them some space.
And I'm sure most of you are sick of hearing the phrase, turn around, don't drown. But this is why. According to FEMA, just 6 inches of water can stall out a car, 12 inches can stall out most vehicles, and 24 inches of rushing water can carry any car away. So I'm going to say it one more time for you. Turn around, don't drown if you see high water over the weekend. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. And if you live in an area where flooding is possible, here's a closer look at how you need to prepare for it. Related repairs can be expensive and time-consuming. And if you don't have flood insurance, you may have backup sewage insurance. The cap on that is $10,000. It kicks in when sewage ends up in your home because the city's infrastructure may be overwhelmed by the rainfall. If your home is flooded and you can do some of the work, you may want to consider removing and bagging your own wet carpeting. Paying a company to do just that could cost you in excess of $5,000. So you could instead use that money and the insurance dollars for repairs that you need. And if you do have flood insurance policy, just know that not everything is covered. So go ahead and move your valuables to a safe place just as a precaution. The rain means that this year you're going to get some extra time to enjoy the Circle of Lights right here in downtown Indianapolis. That display was scheduled to come down this weekend, but downtown Indy says that it's been delayed until next Saturday, the the 18th because of rain in the forecast. And the Carnival Festival of Ice is also making a few schedule changes due to the rain. All Saturday activities are canceled. Ice carving and other events will go on as planned today and Sunday. The sculptures will be located along Main Street with the carving beginning at 4 o'clock. New information this midday on a deadly hit-and-run crash that left a man dead on the south side of Indianapolis. Police say they now know the type of vehicle that fled the scene. This all happened around 7:15 last night on State Road 135 near Thompson Road. Police found the man on the side of the road and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers believe that man was hit by an SUV that was traveling northbound on 135. Here's a picture of the vehicle that's similar to what police are looking for. They believe the suspect is driving a 2003 to 2008 model Honda Pilot. The SUV should have front end damage near the grille and windshield. If you think you have any information, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. Also new this midday, 2 people are dead in southern Indiana after a crash that happened during a police chase. State police say that the chase started around in Madison, Indiana, after the driver refused to pull over for a traffic stop. That chase continued for about 20 minutes into Jefferson County, where the car crashed on State Road 256. 2 passengers in the car died at the scene. Police say they were 18 and 19 years old. The 18-year-old driver of the car was flown to an area hospital in Louisville with serious injuries. Today, President Trump delivered on his promise of new sanctions against Iran. It is the response to Iran's missile attack on U.S. forces in Iraq. ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi tells us that the sanctions come as the House delivered a sharp rebuke of the president over his use of military powers.
This morning, the Trump administration responding to Iran's retaliatory missile strike on U.S. forces in Iraq.
Today's sanctions are part of our commitment to stop the Iranian regime's global terrorist activities.
The president had promised the punishing sanctions on his address to the nation the day after the attack. Sanctions already touch every part of the Iranian economy, with Trump ramping up enforcement efforts last April to push Iran's oil exports, its economic lifeblood, down to zero.
The goal of our campaign is to deny the regime the resources to conduct its destructive foreign policy. We want Iran to simply behave like a normal nation. We believe the sanctions that we impose today further that strategic objective.
Following Iran's rocket attacks on those military bases in Iraq, the president has refrained from any immediate threats of military action against the Iranian regime. Democrats, however, are concerned about the president's lack of congressional involvement in matters involving Iran.
The president just say, I inform you by reading my tweets. No, that's not the relationship that our founders had in mind.
And on Thursday, the sharply divided House took a vote to limit the president's war-making powers.
The bill is passed.
The non-binding resolution requires the president to get congressional approval for any future military action against Iran that lasts longer than 30 days. 3 Republicans supported the measure.
It is this body that needs to make that decision, and the United States Senate.
The White House calling the war powers resolution, quote, ridiculous and completely misguided. In the briefing this morning, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo backed the president's claim that Iranian General Soleimani was plotting to blow up a U.S. embassy, a justification for his killing that some lawmakers claim was not mentioned in their intelligence briefings this week. Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
Will teachers get a raise now or later? Up next in our Statehouse Roundup, we're looking at that issue and other unanswered questions after lawmakers wrap up their first week of work here in the year 2020. Todd.
And Lauren, it's been an extremely wet morning across the area, with many areas picking up over an inch of rain, and more is yet to come. In fact, the heaviest of the rain throughout the next 24 hours doesn't even arrive until tomorrow morning. Flooding is a growing concern. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
The Bachelor, new Monday on ABC.
The work at the Statehouse for the people is underway. The pay raise for the teachers probably isn't. Governor Holcomb says he wants to wait for 3 things.
Stop!
The governor says we should hold off until it's a budget year. That is next year.
Stop!
Presumably, that means Holcomb is confident he'll be re-elected this November, so he'd like to wait until it isn't an election year.
Pizza!
Holcomb also says his Teacher Compensation Commission should weigh in. That doesn't happen until after this year's session.
We'll let the data drive the discussion. We'll say, here's where we want to be, here's where we are, how do we get there, and here's how we pay for it, and who pays.
Democrats don't want to wait. This week, they presented 2 plans to boost teacher pay right now, what teachers asked for when 15,000 of them demonstrated at the Capitol back in November.
We all know that Indiana teachers, unfortunately, since 2002 have seen the lowest pay growth in the nation. And we also know that Indiana teachers are paid less than teachers in all of the surrounding states, and that is simply unacceptable.
But of course, Republicans have a supermajority, so Governor Holcomb will likely win the day. Then again, the governor could have something to say about this next week during his State of the State speech. Another big school bill out this week was prompted by a Call 6 investigation. Representative Greg Porter filed a bill to make charter schools and private schools adopt anti-bullying policies if they get money from the state. A lot of them do now through Indiana's school voucher program. But unlike public schools and most charter schools, private schools are not sharing their bullying numbers.
If you're receiving state dollars, you should be held to the same accountability as everyone else. You should not get a pass.
Representative Porter filed a similar bill last year, but House Republicans did not give it a hearing. You may recall that Call 6 found that half of Indiana's schools somehow did not report a single bullying incident last school year. Working for you with Statehouse Roundup, Ray Steele, RTV6.
Ray, thank you. The king of rock and roll is still revered, and tonight you can celebrate Elvis's birthday with some artists who are almost the king. We'll get a preview from one of those tribute artists coming up right here on the news at noon. First, let's take a live look outside right now. You can see those clouds. A yucky Storm Team 6 alert day here on this Friday. We'll check in with Todd and see how much rain we're expected to get over the next 2 days. That is coming up when the news at noon continues. Stick around. Welcome back. We are following breaking news right now. This is heading towards the downtown area from the northwest side. This is a look near 30th Street. A jackknife semi here across the road, and they're not letting traffic behind this crash get through in the southbound lanes. You can see that everything is backed up there, sitting at a standstill. No word yet on any injuries, but of course we will continue to keep you updated. Breaking news now just into the RTV6 newsroom. United States House Speaker Nancy Pelosi just announcing that the House will take the next week to send the articles of impeachment to the Senate for President Donald Trump's trial. This is historic. The last president to go to trial after being impeached is Bill Clinton. Again, the House is expected to send those articles of impeachment to the Senate next week for President Trump's trial. Some good news to share with you today. We told you that Michael Kaltenmark, the longtime handler of the Butler Bulldog mascots, was getting a new kidney yesterday. Well, today, Kaltenmark tweeted that the surgery was successful and he's starting to feel better. Kaltenmark's brother is also doing well. He donated the kidney to his brother, and the Butler mascot Trip is also happy. The man he calls Pops is recovering. Today also happens to be Kaltenmark's 40th birthday, so we're hoping for a full recovery for him. Great news there. Not so great news, though, is the forecast. Pretty rainy for our Friday, and you said it's sticking around into the weekend.
You know, it's bad timing, right? Friday, and then we go into Saturday, the weekend. But at least it's rain, right? And not snow.
It could be snow.
I know there are some snow lovers out there that wish it was all snow, but it is not going to be the case. We are on the warm side of things. So it is a Storm Team 6 alert day. The impact level is high because this is impacting all of central Indiana. Will continue to do so over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours. So this rain will be with us all day long. It'll be heavy at times. We've already seen 1 inch, and we're looking at another 1 to 3 inches of possible rainfall, and that is going to continue to lead to a lot of flooding across parts of central Indiana. So there's these pockets of moderate rainfall out there right now where you don't see a lot of green on the radar. It's still cloudy. It's still kind of drizzly across the area. Some decent rain from Danville over towards Greencastle right now. And then as we slide down to the south, a little bit of a break from Bloomington, which has seen nearly 1.5 inches of rain. But there's a lot more to come. So if you're getting a little break here this afternoon or this evening, it's going to move back in pretty quickly across the area, and this rain stretches all the way back into portions of Arkansas. The area of low pressure itself is just now starting to strengthen, and the track is going to take it towards Chicago, and that's key because we're on the warm side of things. On the other side of this yellow line, that's where we have a lot of winter storm warnings that are posted for a lot of snow that is going to be heading in that direction. But this is the rainfall so far. I threw a bunch of numbers on here, and you can kind of see that everybody's at an inch to about an inch and a half of rainfall from what fell this morning and now into this early afternoon hours. Flood advisories are in the green here. The bright green is river flood warnings, and these will continue to become more numerous in the coming days. So fast forward on TrueCast here, scattered showers throughout the remainder of the day, maybe a little bit of a break initially overnight, and then some really heavy rainfall will come in by tomorrow morning. Do not be shocked if you get woken up tomorrow morning by a rumble of thunder or some very gusty winds as this front comes through. And that's the next round of what we'll call real heavy rain across most of the area. And then we'll continue to deal with these scattered showers off and on, really all the way until early Sunday morning. Additional rainfall on top of what we've seen, still going to be another couple inches, and that's why flooding is going to become a big issue, I think, here in the coming days. Even after the rain ends, rivers will continue to rise. The good news is, as I mentioned, temperatures mild. Here we are 10 o'clock tonight, still in the mid-50s. As we go throughout the overnight hours, we stay in the 50s. But look what happens tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be spring-like 65 in Richmond, winter-like in Lafayette at 45, and then that colder air will continue to work its way in tomorrow afternoon. So by tomorrow night, we're talking about much colder air in place, but our biggest concern, again, is going to be the rainfall and the flooding here, potentially through the weekend into early next week.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Well, he is called the closest thing you can get to the king himself. This week would have been the birthday of the king of rock and roll, and tonight you can celebrate Elvis's birthday with not just one, but 3 kings. The Elvis Tribute Artist Spectacular is tonight at the Pike Performing Arts Center, and one of the tribute artists is performing, and that is Sean Clush. He's with me here today, although this is Elvis, right? He's won multiple Elvis competitions, and you may have seen him on TV as Elvis or Elvis Vampire on What We Do in the Shadows. Sean, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about your last performance before your death. Was in Indianapolis, right? So you're back.
June 26, 1977, that's right.
All right, so
Right.
A great play. You like the city.
I love the city.
And you're back here performing.
Love it.
What can folks expect if they head out to Pike?
A lot of energy, a lot of power. It's a very, uplifting type show. It's a lot of energy.
Okay.
A lot of the Vegas kind of feel stuff.
And you obviously, the king.
Yeah. I'm
Love
no
the
king. Believe me, I love him, but I'm no king.
How did you get into doing this?
Man, that's a loaded question. I was the only child. My dad was a DJ.
Oh.
He was a ventriloquist stand-up comedian, so I got bit real early.
This is in your blood, you could say.
Since I was about years old.
Okay. Awesome. Well, is there anything people need to know about the show, what they can expect if they're coming out?
Yeah, it goes through his life. It really does. You get to see his life in music right in front of you. And that's the difference, because you get to relive it. And there's a lot of memories attached to those songs.
Definitely.
I mean, and he's still going.
Still a legend today.
He's gone as long as he was alive. That's hard to comprehend.
It really is.
And they still come out. They're there. And it blows your mind.
All right, well, I want to give you plenty of time to perform for us. So I'm going to give you
You're going to make me work.
I'm going to make you work. Give us a little sneak preview of what folks can see tonight at Pike. So I'll give you the stage and let you take it from here. It was great to meet you. All right, here we go.
We're caught in a trap. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see? Oh, no, what you're doing to me? When you don't believe a word I say. We can't go on together with vicious minds, and we can't build our dreams.
$1 million collected for our clients.
A lot more rain is heading our way today and tomorrow. Kyle and Kevin will have the latest tonight.
All right, Todd, thanks so much, and thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend, and stay out of the rain, stay dry.